it's the morning, you are getting ready to go to work, and your children are getting ready. And when you're about to leave, and you know you're already a little late already, and when you're about to leave, your 4-year-old refuses to put his shoes on. And you know that you cannot be 5 minutes late because you could potentially lose your job or something bad could happen. And that child, how do you get that child to put his shoes on and get in the car? So you just resort to take this lollipop and put your shoes on and get in the car, and the child does it. It does work. And you know that it is a straight up bribe, but it works, and you're late and you need to get out of the house. Now, how would that work on the long run? If this child starts to learn that if he refuses to do something, he gets something, how would that happen? How would that go on the long run? We are all busy. We are all moms. I understand exactly what you're going through. I have twin toddlers. I do therapeutic foster care. I have a teenager in my house. And it's the right moment when you are rushing, when you're late, that your children decide not to follow your instructions. Today, I'm excited to share with you strategies that are going to be alternatives to bribing, because this is what happens when you bribe your kids. It's not that you want to, but it's a survival technique that you applied, right? I've been guilty of that too. But I've learned in my work as a therapeutic provider strategies to get children to listen without bribes. And I'm going to give you today the alternatives that you can use to bribes, and how you can ingrain in your children the internal motivation to make good choices, to listen to you with just because they know it's the right thing to do, not because they're being bribed. Because that's one other thing with bribes. They're doing things because they are getting something, not because they feel is the right thing to do, right? And the other thing is, have you ever used behavioral charts or behavioral charts or reward systems? You are going to learn today, are they bribes? Are they not bribes? Can they be confused for bribes? I mean, can they really be bribes? But you said this, it's their behavioral charts. Today you are going to learn the difference, and you are going to learn how to apply reward systems appropriately, right? So your child gets to listen to you without bribes, and you get the job done, and you can get out of the door on time. Okay. Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Marcela Collier. I am a mom of twin toddlers. I am a therapeutic provider, and in this channel I am in a mission to empower you with the confidence that you got this, mom. You are able to raise happy, confident children. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and hit the notification bell so every time I upload, you are notified of my videos. Let's go right straight up to the topic. Let's address the elephant in the room. Are behavioral charts or reward charts bribes, or they're not? Okay, they could be bribes if you don't use them correctly. What the difference is, bribes are used before a desired behavior is displayed. So when you say, I'm ready to make this phone call, but let me give you this lollipop, so you stay quiet for some minutes because I need to make this phone call. That's a bribe. It's given before the behavior, and it doesn't really teach anything. If anything, it teaches them manipulation. With rewards, they display the desired behavior, and after that they get rewarded because of the behavior. Doesn't it sound like life? You go to work first, and after that, at the end of the month, you get your reward, which is your salary. That's how life works. And we need to teach our children how life works as well, right? So, when it comes to rewards, they're given after the desired behavior. And the second difference is that rewards are meant to teach a skill or a behavior or a habit. Bribes don't teach anything. Take this lollipop so I can make this phone call. What is that teaching that child? But if you have a reward system in place, there are systems. They are part of a learning experience. If you are teaching your child to complete his daily hygiene without needing you independently, and for that you set up a reward chart that every time they brush their teeth, they get a sticker. Every time they comb their hair, they get a sticker. That is actually teaching them skill, is teaching them a habit. So reward charts or rewards in general, they teach something. Bribes don't. And the third and main difference is that rewards, the main beneficiary of a reward is the child. But on bribes, the main beneficiary of a bribe is you. Just take this lollipop and make me do this phone call in peace. So it is you. And if you've bribed your child, we're on the same boat. Even after knowing all these strategies, sometimes if that's what gets them to sit at the doctor's office while I'm sick, waiting for the doctor to come to me, I use it, right? Defense is allowed, mom. So don't beat yourself up. But today I'm going to give you the strategy so you don't use bribes as your primary way of getting your children to listen to you, right? Because it could backfire to you. It would teach them that why to behave good. Why to behave good. It would not teach them the value of things. And third thing, it would let them know that they cannot behave good unless they get something beforehand. So that's not good for anybody. Not good for you, not good for your child as well. How do you really get them to follow your instructions, get to listen to you because they want to, because they know it's the right thing to do, not because you are giving them something? That's the $1 million question. And let's talk about why do people do things? Why do you do things? People do things because they have a reason and they understand the value of doing whatever they're doing. I exercise every day because I see the value on being stronger, and I see the value of feeling more energetic throughout the day. That's why I exercise. The same with children. Children are more motivated to do something when they see the value. So the first thing that you could do is to talk to them about the value of the thing that you're trying to teach them or that you're trying to get accomplished, right? So if you are trying to get out of the door, you can tell them your reason. If we don't get there on time, we are going to miss the doctor's appointment, and what happens is I'm gonna have to reschedule it, and we're gonna have to go back to the doctor. And they understand. When you give them your reasons, they understand. Even if they're toddlers, if you speak to them on their level, they would understand. I say it because I do it all the time with my 2-year-old twins, and they understand my reasons. Now, if you say, I've done that and it doesn't work, what do you do next? Okay, if that doesn't work, you go to the next level. The next level is that every child, every person is interested in something. There is something that they care about, right? Even if you think that they don't care about anything, I guarantee you that there is something that they really care about. So take that something that they care about and relate it to the thing that you're trying to teach them. So for example, if you are trying to teach them the brushing their teeth independently, that they don't need you to be there like telling them all the time, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, then you could relate that to something they like to do. For example, in my case, to be honest with you, I'm a little obsessed with YouTube. So, and I don't like brushing my teeth either, but I do it 3 times a day. I do it 3 times a day, watching YouTube videos. And maybe if that's an interest of your child and that gets them to brush their teeth, have them watch YouTube videos while they brush their teeth. There is nothing wrong with that, right? As long as they're not glued to that screen for hours and hours, let them use something that they really enjoy, they really want to do. That's how I get to brush my twins' teeth a lot of the times. Not every time, but a lot of the times I have to put Mother Goose Club's channel, the channel that they like, and that's how I get them to brush their teeth without throwing a tantrum. So use something that they like with something that you want them to do. Your child he doesn't like math. He hates math, but he still needs to do his math homework. How can you relate something that he likes with math? Maybe he is really interested in horses. He loves everything about horses. So how can you relate horses to math? That's going to make them be more willing to cooperate with the math homework because it's already in something that they enjoy doing. My toddlers, I'm in the potty training season. Please pray for me. It is not easy, but I'm applying all these strategies. The strategy of relating something they like with something that I'm trying to teach them that they don't want. They hate underwear. They like to freeball it all day. But they need their underwear. They need to learn that they need to wear underwear. So I'm working on that. So how do I get them to put their underwear on without throwing a temper tantrum? They're a lot into colors. They love colors and they like to name colors and everything. All about colors. So I bring their underwear basket and I let them choose the color of their underwear that they want to wear that day. And that has worked perfectly. So after I passed the first test of like me trying to put underwear on to them, put their underwear on, and them throwing a fit, and it was just a full blown out temper tantrum, I decided to go this route, and since then it's been decent. It's been decent experience. Not been perfect, but it's been decent. Now, what about if you already talked to them about the reason why you want them to do something and you already tried to relate it to something they want to do, but they still refuse to follow your instructions? What do you do in this case? Please help. Okay, I've been there too. I tried to relate it to something they wanted. I tried to tell them the reasons, but they still don't brush their teeth. So that in that case, you could use 2 strategies, and please use them in this order. The first thing, you could use choices, because many times it's not about the red cup or the yellow cup or the brushing teeth or not brushing teeth. It's about that your children want to have control over the outcome of their lives. As much as you want to have control over them, they want to have control over themselves and sometimes control over us, right? So, when we offer choices to children, we empower them. See, we release power to them, but we keep our authority. We keep our control. We're still in charge. So the underwear case, that's a choice. You get to choose your underwear, right? Bottom line, they still get their underwear on. I'm still in charge of the situation, but they have the power. I release power to them on what is going to take place. So let's go back to the first example that we talked about. Your child is refusing to put his shoes on, and then you need to leave and rush out of the door. So how do you use choices? You could please use choices that are directly related to whatever you're doing. So you could say, do you want to put your shoes on all by yourself, or you want me to help you and you finish? Or you want to start putting your shoes on and then I come and help you? Or like, give them two choices that you're comfortable with. That might be the end of the deal. It's not that they don't want to get out of the door. It might not be that they don't really want to put their shoes on. It might be that they want to have control over the situation. And by you releasing choices, they feel empowered, right? So first of all, offer choices that are directly related to whatever you're doing. Offer few choices. Please don't overwhelm children with choices, especially if they're little ones. And choices that you are comfortable with, right? So you can, because another thing, if you leave it too open, like if they're refusing to eat their dinner and you say, okay, so what do you want to eat then? What can happen then? They could tell, yeah, I want to eat lollipops for dinner. That could happen. They're children. They don't know what is good for them, what dinner is, right? So you could offer them a choice. You could say, do you want to start with the potatoes and finish with the meat, or you want to start with the meat and finish with the potatoes? Bottom line, they're eating their dinner, but they're having a little control over the situation. 9 times out of 10, they make their choice and they end up eating their dinner. And if they don't eat their full dinner, don't force them. Don't force them, right? You cannot really control what goes in their bodies. Your job is to offer, and their job is to decide if they eat or not. And that's something that I still have to remind myself of, because one of my twins, he is a really picky eater. And when he refuses to eat, my anxiety raises up, and then I feel like freaking out a little bit, and he's getting underfed, that he's not going to fulfill the nutrients of the day. But I have to remind myself that I cannot make him eat. All I can do is offer him, and he decides if he wants to eat or not. Yes? I could, okay, you are excused from the table. Maybe 15 minutes later, I could come back to him with a healthy snack. And that's one thing that, that's for another video for picky eaters. But yeah, that's one thing that I do. I make sure that I always offer, the snacks that I offer are snacks full of protein and good vitamins. So if they don't eat really like great dinner, I know they already have their nutritional value in. But that's for another video. If you are interested in a video like that, please let me know in the comments. Okay? Okay. Have you ever dealt with temper tantrums? Because what could be a 2-minute thing, very quickly could turn out into a 20-minute fight or a blown out temper tantrum. If you are struggling with temper tantrums, please let me know in the comments, because I have a free tool for you. It's a free Are You Handling Temper Tantrums Right quiz that you can take right now for free. And it lets you know where you are, how well you're handling temper tantrums, and it gives you ideas of from where you are to the future. Okay, so what about if you already gave them choices? You already talked about the importance and everything, all the things that we've been talking about, but they still refuse to listen to you. How come you don't resort to bribes? How don't you do that? We're gonna talk about this. If choices have not worked, you could go to the next step. So the first step is choices. The second step is talking about natural and logical consequences. What are those, please? Please talk in English. What are those? So natural consequences are the inevitable outcome of somebody's actions. So if it is cold outside and I choose to go outside in a tank top, the natural consequence for me is that I'm going to be freezing. I'm going to be very cold. So that's a natural consequence, right? So that's a natural consequence. And a logical consequence is that it is a consequence that is directly related to the behavior, to the action, but it is not an inevitable outcome, but rather it's imposed by the authority figure, by you. So, for example, a logical consequence could be if your child is refusing to brush his teeth and the choices didn't work, you say, okay, you can either brush your teeth or I brush your teeth, even if you're crying, because that's a non-negotiable, right? So that's a logical consequence. The natural consequence in that case is not safe, because the natural consequence is that they would just go to bed with dirty teeth, and then they would end up with cavities. So that's not really safe. But logical consequence would be the route, and that's my children in the background. My husband is trying to bathe them. But okay, anyway, please bear with me. You're a mom, you understand, right? So with logical consequences, is directly related. You're still gonna get your teeth brushed, but it's imposed by you. What is the difference between logical consequences and punishment? Punishments are not directly related to the behavior. If you say, if you don't brush your teeth, you're not going to watch TV. What does TV have to do with brushing teeth? Unless somehow you connect it. I don't know how you would do that, but it would be more logical to say, okay, if you don't brush your teeth on your own, I'm gonna do it regardless if you're crying or not. Now, when it comes to natural consequences, if it is safe to let them happen, let them happen. Let it happen. I had a child in foster care with me. I love this child. He's not longer anymore with me. He's with his family. And he had his friends over. And he was refusing to share the PlayStation controls with his friends. And then I said to myself, okay, right now I have two choices. I could either go and make him share the controllers with his friends, saying, okay, if you're not going to share, nobody's gonna play. Or I could let him live the natural consequence of that choice. So I decided that by me doing the first thing, what would he really learn from that? He would just think that I'm just being annoying, right? But the second thing sounded a little bit more like it could be a learning experience for him. So I stepped back and I let it happen because I knew it was going to be safe. So what was the natural consequence of this child not sharing his controllers? His friends got so bored that they ended up leaving. They left the house. And then he came out of his room and he looked at me with teary eyes. And then he said, they left. And that was golden time for me to process the incident and to teach him the skill of sharing. And I said, why do you think they left? Because I wasn't sharing my controllers. He even had the answer. I didn't have to tell him. And I said, okay, so what do you have to do next time for them not to get bored? To share my controls? Okay. And that was it. That was it. I let him live the natural consequence of his own choices. It was safe for him to do it. It was uncomfortable for him, but it was a pleasant learning experience, and it didn't take much energy from me. It would have taken more from me if I would have gone with the first thing, with the first choice that I had, right? That was to make him share with his friends. So that's the second thing. If choices don't work, apply logical and natural consequences, right? You got this, mom. You got this. You are able to get your children to listen to you without bribes. Let me know in the comments which one of these things you are ready to do with your kids. You are ready to apply with your kids right now. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Every Thursday at this time, I show up with a live on a topic about parenting, motherhood, to encourage you with the confidence that you are able to raise happy, confident children. You got this. I'll see you on my next live.